God. Oh, oh, it's falling down. Oh my God. Don't fall down, don't fall down. Just stay. Come on, then. Oh my God, I can't remember a single word. I know this song. This camera's just pissed at me, I guess. Medical marijuana vlog day. I'm in a state that allows it with a medical card, and this is not a channel for children. Moving on. I think that being able to address issues while having medical marijuana assist me will, at least if nothing else, be entertaining. I hope, at least. So I made a little notepad, because the first few times I did this, I didn't even have a note system, and I know better than that. So let's try again. I want to talk about the fact that my last labs showed that my actual liver enzymes were going down into a normal level, which is good news. But it also means that all of the symptoms that I have are now because of medications or the cirrhosis itself, because the liver enzyme, the attacking of the liver, seems to be within range of not being too nervous. I mean, a 40-something number is double a 20-something number, but it used to be a 1200-something number. So it's just a matter of perspective. So I have cirrhosis as a result of my autoimmune hepatitis. This is not alcoholic, and this is not viral. All of this. I didn't catch anything. It all developed from within, because why not? Murphy's Law. I recently saw a cardiologist who gave me an all clear. He did see on an echo that I had a slight murmur, which may be due to a mitral valve prolapse. It does run in my mom's side of the family. So that's my cardiologist now, and he said, I'll see you back in a year if you'd like. Otherwise, if there's anything that happens, let us know. Great, right? I haven't had a good report for doctoring in a while. The person actually caring about me in the first place, it was just amazing. More about that later. My neuro consult did not go as well. I only passed by 1 point. Most days it's probably way below that. So I had an MRI done and an EEG, electroencephalogram. Seriously, I wouldn't rely on me right now. Cardio flying colors, neuro visit, passed by 1 point, so still ordered the test as if I'd failed. MRI and EEG. MRI is good. No bleeds, shifts, lesions, masses, tumors, or otherwise. It looks like a brain is supposed to look. So I have an EEG result that I'm waiting on, and then beyond that, we just have to figure out what we're going to do, because hepatic encephalopathy can progress along with your liver disease, and you can end up in a coma from it, and then you end up normally, if you're in a coma for it, it's a little too late for all their drastic measures, I think. So you're like, I hope you make it, but you probably won't. Moving right along to the last couple of weeks I spent in Atlanta seeing other providers like cardiology and neuro, and I also tried a new fiber-focused diet, and as well as taking a medication called Xifaxan that is intended usually. There's a few things that it treats. One of them can be assisting with memory issues. So the high fiber diet almost killed me. I mean, I was very grateful. It was nice that for a whole 2 weeks I had all the help that I needed without having to I don't know how to explain it. My mom was the one that was helping me, and it just doesn't feel so bad when your mom is taking care of you. That's what's happened your whole life. So that I was grateful for it. And she's the one that basically prescribed this, try this diet out, and let's try a fourth of the daily dose of the new Xifaxan medicine to see how it works. How it works is Xifaxan treats IBS-D for diarrhea. I have IBS-C for constipation. So not only do I lack enough water in my intestines in the first place, but this Xifaxan leached every other bit out, and it was horrible every time. So once I got home, I discontinued that, went back to some of the things that I did that I make a concerted effort at keeping fiber stuff going on. I use psyllium and things like that, but I can't just change things overnight. My body does not like it. Other things coming up this month, I finally have an appointment for my disability. I originally had an appointment in March that was like going along pretty swimmingly. My diagnoses, the only thing that's interrupting that is potentially the fact that I'm only 40, and this is a serious disease. It is a fatal disease with fatal complications. So I don't see that being a huge issue. And it's kind of scary to say, like, I hope I qualify because that means I am that sick. But if we have that help, maybe that'll allow me to let go of my guilt, and really be able to, like, if we have that's funds, we can go to, when they're open or when it's not crawling with germs. I could swim in a pool. I could go to a salt float, that magnesium salt float. I could have a massage, things that sound like they're all like whatever, like nobody prescribes those things. Actually, they do. And for me, massage would be absolutely excellent. My circulation in my legs is not getting any better. So, I put my thing down. I was not supposed to put that thing down. So anyway, kind of a mixed feeling about seeing the disability doctors, but not really having any doubts that they're not going to be able to see that I can't work. At the very smallest thing that you'd want me to do, I would even forget 3 steps see? 2 different thoughts in the sentence just went and crashed together. I also wanted to take a minute and talk about my current top 5 worst side effects or symptoms from my cirrhosis. Some of these could also be blamed on the medication, the chemo drug I'm on, but I doubt it. So number 5, working our way up to 1 always feels so much better, doesn't it? Fatigue. The fatigue when it hits, it is ridiculous. I know that I am not a skinny person that you could just break over your leg like a twig. I can't move my arm to even begin the process of getting up. It's so exhausting just moving, just even paying attention to something that's on the TV. Then you close your eyes, and if you're like me, you're like, I can't sleep. All I can do is think of things that I could be doing if I wasn't sick. Staying at home, having to stay at home because of an illness is not the same as getting to stay at home because it's a choice in your family. Not the same thing. Not pointing anybody out. This is not about anybody. This is a general statement. Yeah, so anyway. Number 4, migraines. I used to have migraines pretty frequently. I had MRI of the head in the past because of them. There was no findings, so I'm not sure what it was, but I'm going to put my finger here, and I'm going to try and follow this trail back. I had a positive ANA when I was 18. I had increased liver enzymes when I was 18 or 19. And I had migraines in my early 20s. All could have pointed to the onset of this illness. It could have been going on so long that nobody wants to believe that at 40 it's a problem because I just got diagnosed. But this was like, I finally figured out what it was to the point of having a biopsy to confirm it. And if I had gotten this taken care of back in the day, I may have had a harder time with catching things because I already had a decreased immune system. So I already get sick more than others typically, or I have it for longer, it hits me harder, whatever you want to say. But I really feel like I've been fighting a lot of these things for 20 years, unknowingly, until it was, no wonder my liver is so far gone, and my age really is an annoying factor because it was when I was 20. How was I supposed to know? It came and went. I had a little drinking at 21, might have contributed to it. Having illness after illness in my late 20s definitely contributed. that's a, you know, a bonus thing that I can't stand about these symptoms. The idea that if I had just known, if one doctor had even asked, have you had these looked at? Because I was always an overweight adult. So nobody decided it was anything more than, well, of course you have fatty liver. You're fat. Doesn't matter. Your blood pressure is good. This and that is good. I used to joke that I was the healthiest fat person you'd meet because the only thing wrong with me was that I was fat, which was a social issue as much as a health issue. But what I didn't even realize as I was making those statements was, and you may not even know you're sick for a couple decades, like me. I just don't know yet. Okay, walking it back. Joint pain. Number 3, joint pain. It is systemic. It moves around. It has either a mind of its own because it comes out of nowhere for me, or I know I did something and that's why it hurts. So I think that it has to do with a movement or activity that I did the day before, where by the next day, it's like you shouldn't have done that. So I've been having that come up again since my prednisone has gone away. It's been, I think, the third or fourth week of not being on prednisone. I had to taper down from 30 milligrams all the way down to 2.5. So without that there, that's coming back because while the prednisone kept getting decreased, the Imuran has not been increased. And I really hope that if there's, for some reason, that my liver enzymes rise or something, I'm still going to say, if I have to be back on prednisone, which I really, 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 really don't want. I don't want it. We also need to look at increasing the Imuran, so maybe I can have a lower dose of prednisone because I gained like 40 pounds almost from my lowest weight during this illness to my highest weight. It's horrible and had all kinds of issues. You can go back to look at any of my videos. Most of them are terrifying or annoying, I'm sure, but I still have major scars from the big boily zits that come with prednisone. It's like a steroid, no, an acne, a pimple. Damn it, a pimple on steroids. Seriously, that's where you stop. So instead of having regular little pimples or even annoying little zits because of PCOS, it's prednisone is like the worst for that for me. Without that in place, my joints hurt. My right knee especially, I did something and it won't go away because this knee is just shot. Number 2, nausea and dry mouth. It is so horrible. And of course, now that I've said it, water's good. It helps me to drink more, which is helpful. Sorry if I messed that up. But seriously, the nausea when I first wake up or when I move too much, sit up too fast, stand up too fast, am too hot for too long. Those are just the ones I can come up with off of the top of my head, which are a lot considering. And it's like there's no way to contain it. If it's not one thing, it's 5 other things that are making me feel that way. So now that with medical marijuana, that's able to quell that between a half dose. I used to take 25 milligrams of Phenergan. I've gotten that down to 15 milligrams. 12.5 milligrams of prednisone. Shit. We're still rolling. Don't take it again. We're still rolling. I take 12.5 milligrams of Phenergan now, and then I implement the use of my medical marijuana, so I don't have to take too much of either to get the effect of feeling like I could have something to eat and not have an issue with it coming back out. So that's a helpful change, but as the prednisone has worn off, I feel like it's finally done wearing off now. But it makes a lot of other things worse. And the dry mouth is from a medication. I know there's always the joke about cotton mouth with use of marijuana, but even when that's not about you smoking it or not, just to be clear. You get dry mouth because of the marijuana itself, not because it's smoked versus eaten versus vaped versus whatever else. It's because of the response in the body, not whether it's smoked. So just to be clear on that. number 2 on my list only because I have emetophobia, which is a fear. It's an irrational fear of vomiting that everyone I've met, most of them have been like, yeah, I hate it too, but between how it feels to lead up to it and how it feels once it's over, might as well just go through it. That's what apparently normal people do. I myself am strange and unusual. So I feel like I've never had a very good experience with that. It's always just horrible, and I don't want to talk about it. And so it has developed into a phobia because whenever it happens, it's unusually traumatizing for me. I don't know why, and I wish it wasn't the case. That's why that's number 2, because it's high up there on my anxiety level list. And before we get to the reveal of number 1 that everyone knows is already coming, don't forget to share or like or subscribe and comment anything at all, so that I can see if you guys got anything out of this. If nothing else, at least I know a number of people have watched it, and that would be good to increase. So, number 1, memory and cognition. Case in point, having to make a list in order to tell you that, and not to mention, look at my handwriting. I mean, look how I wrote disability. It is ILITY, but it doesn't look like it because my handwriting is because of my tremors and because of I don't have the ability anymore to go. I used to love to practice my calligraphy and write as many different ways as I could and try to figure out which way I wanted to write. I thought that's what everybody did. Some girls had really bubbly writing, some were like really tiny, some write in all block letters no matter what they're saying. And that's just a little bit. And I was like, well, I don't know. Well, I just tried a bunch of them. I came down to a couple of them, but seriously, this looks like they just, I just got jolted by something. They're like, go talk right now, write it down. So, yeah. And I did say after this, I would go to the next thing. I'm sorry, I was supposed to flip it over. Okay, something else going on right now is doctor drama. I don't like drama at all, in my life anyway. So this is causing an increase of anxiety, especially because I am feeling like I am being summoned to the principal's office by my hepatologist. If you go back and look at some of my other videos or just believe me right now, we do not have a very good working relationship. He thinks that I demand things and that I try and self-diagnose and request studies that he doesn't agree I need, and that ticks him off. At best, I try to explain what I was going through and how these were my fears and sadnesses, and he rolled his eyes at me at the appointment, right in front of me. I was like, I don't want to, I couldn't get my thoughts together, and then I kept saying, I don't want to be a test subject. I don't want to just be a study subject for your school of medicine. And it's not like you really get a choice in that, I guess, but the liver biopsy I ended up having to confirm my diagnosis was done by a resident. And as far as I know, there's no issues. I have some, what I feel maybe ghost pain sometimes from it, because my body does that. A lot of people's bodies do that. But I mean, it went fine. So it was just about, it wasn't because I actually care about that. It's more like, I need to be told that it's going to be okay. I need to know that my doctor has a vested interest in me getting better, or in just trying to alleviate my fears and panic a little bit, saying we're going to do everything we can, even if you can't promise anything. Was he sick that day? Oh. So, and I go from anxious to angry and back and forth. It's causing me anxiety. Apparently what has happened is I've been caught going to a second opinion because I went across the street to the other school of medicine because it was a name given to me with an ER visit. I went in, I tell them I have what I have. They do the workup, check those things going on, make sure nothing's flying through the roof, treat pain, and then discharge. I always have to have a CT scan because of elevated D-dimer. Google that. And so it can be more lengthy ER process, but when you leave with that, they always refer you to a doctor, especially if you don't mention your specific hepatologist or they don't ask. So I was given the name of a doctor that does the same thing that my doctor does at the school across the street. So I saw him, and that went so not well. I left the office in tears, just like ugly crying, like little kid, that kind of crying. I was crying my eyes out all the way out of the building, and Andy had to stay ever since the pandemic and stuff affected everybody. They don't do valet parking and things anymore, so which is good. That means that she can't just go park because it's expensive, and so she leaves. I go in there by myself is the point, and that's never good because I get anxious and I need her there, and she's making sure that we don't have to pay a bunch of money to just leave. So I left in such a state of upset that the lady that was supposed to check me out had these huge eyes, like, what the heck happened? And just said they would call me to finalize registration. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that today. So that's how well that went. It was done kind of at my mom's urging. She was like, there's no reason why you can't have a second opinion. I didn't receive any treatment from him. I didn't get any medication from him. And so I don't understand what the problem would be. I know doctors want you to, only see them, but it's not their decision entirely. It shouldn't be. I mean, I'm allowed to be a proactive member of my healthcare team. It is my health. It is my body. It's my life. There's got to be some wiggle room. I'm not trying to, create new amendments to anything. It gets me all upset and that it don't make sense like that. So I feel like I'm being called to the principal's office because I was done written. I received in the online medical communication page that they saw that I went to see this doctor, and what was that about? And I explained that just what I said to you about my mom, and that it was just a follow-up from an ER visit, because every time I tell my doctor that is my treating physician right now, every time I tell him that I have a problem, his only response is go to the ER. Every single time, go to the ER. He hasn't wanted to make an appointment with me. I haven't seen him since January or February. I think it's February. It's August. It's been 6 months. Some people can't even get medication refills with lapsing a 6-month visit to the doctor. But nope, no need to see me. In fact, after my last labs, it was switched from every 3 weeks to now October before he even wants new labs. He's doing the bare minimum of checking on things. And I'm sorry, but after that 20 years of living with this part that I mentioned, I'm no longer ready to do that, considering that's probably what got me so sick in the first place, is not knowing, doctors not following through, or erring on the side of caution. It just is ridiculous. It would make total sense for my doctor to do certain things. You're supposed to have ultrasound checkups of your spleen, etc. I've asked for these things and got literally made fun of on the last phone call I had with him, which he was already pissed off at me because I asked him to call me, being my doctor and all. He doesn't want to see me for 6 months, but he can't spare a 10-minute phone call he made fun of me and then hung up on me. So I think because they asked about that, I gave the answer, and they're like, well, he wants to do a telemed visit with you in September. Why? I'm not supposed to get my labs till October. Why does he want to talk to me? Do you want me to get my labs sooner? No. We want to see you on the visit, and then you leave the labs where they are. So I feel like I'm just being called into the principal's office to get told that I'm not being good with something, or It's okay. Hold on. It's okay. Stand up. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Sit back down. We have a pug. There are things that come with having a pug, and sometimes they reverse sneeze, and I know what they're doing, but they don't understand it, and it's scary to them. So I like to help her to get past that. It's okay. You're okay. So, yeah. Because he made fun of me and all that, I don't trust him as my doctor. He's written off everything I've ever asked him, even when I wanted to do a fiber scan before I did the biopsy. He gave into that because he thought once that came that I would just do the biopsy. I'm like, well, clearly, once again, you don't know me because you don't get to know me at all, and roll your eyes through our meeting because you didn't listen to 3/4 of what I said anyway. This is how I feel about my provider, about the most crushing part of my entire health, the cirrhosis. So I still have that anxiety, even though I already have plans in place to switch providers. And that is because I am not going to sit around and wait for someone to get ready to figure out why my symptoms have spiraled downward when I asked and asked and asked for these things that could have prevented it. Did I want to say anything else? No. Why do you end on drama, Natalie? Why? Thanks for your patience during the pug situation. I'm going to leave that in there just so if anybody has a pug or a dog does that, dogs with harder to breathe areas, they will kind of, their nose gets wet, and then instead of being able to get rid of it normally, they're breathing in heavily, and then it gets in there, and it's like when you get water up your nose. And she gets scared, is all that is. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing me rant while on medical marijuana about what's going on in my life. And if you want to stick around, there are some bloopers I'm going to put together at the end of just trying to get this video on its way to you. So there that is. And I want to take a minute. In my earlier videos, I would do these page shout outs for people. And unless you've been under a rock or never go on YouTube, you've probably heard of Randy Rainbow on YouTube. And he also does apparently live shows. I didn't even know this. Some of his earlier work is from like 2013, 2012. And he has all the same talent, but the back, like, we all start somewhere. And now it's like he has these amazing videos. And the one that I watched most recently was really fun for me because I'm the token lesbian in my family, and so it's the 2 minute out in the middle of the end of your video that you ran out of memory for your phone. That's the kind of stuff that happens. So I was just saying, if you have not heard of him, please look him up on YouTube, Randy Rainbow, and he is hilarious. The 2 minute history of homosexuality, it literally is 2 minutes, and it's excellent, and it's being sung to the tune of Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast. Okay, see you later. Whenever. I don't know. Oh, what? You don't enjoy your medical marijuana and play your old alternative favorites while having string cheese and possibly some sorbetto? Come on, we've all done that. This is me, Natalie, intention on being filter free. And, okay, Eleanor, seriously? Sit down. Troublemaker, sit down. Not up in my face. Okay. Photo bombing puppy? No, I'm not going to have a turf war. Stop.
Alright. I'm filter-free Natalie. I'm Natalie whether there's a filter or not, but I try to not have one because at this point it's just exhausting to have a lot of filters. Not the same thing as boundaries, but filters. Like, I can't multitask very well, so trying to keep up with what I want to say, my tone, what thought is coming up next, where was I just at, how do you spell rhetoric? That's what happened to me earlier. I was trying to use rhetoric, and I always have trouble remembering how to spell rhythm. I don't know why. I've always had a hard time with it. It's always been an autocorrect issue for me. But rhetoric I am familiar with, and I would be able to spell it. And with my scumbag brain going on right now, I had to look it up before even using it and verifying not only that I spelled it right, but also that it was the correct word for the conversation. So I think that I don't know where I was, but it's only been a minute. I keep restarting these because I go off track so easily. So, okay, medical marijuana is awesome. I'm glad I finally have some again, and I also have, I was like, do I have something other? Yes, medical. I have another medication sample that has proven to be really good, but it's a concern with another pill I already take. Blood Orange Sorbado by Chow Bella, I think. Helps with my sweet tooth and my dry mouth with just the smallest, the smallest measurement. It's in a measuring bowl, seriously. And I'm not coughing because of anything concerning, because I stay inside as much as I can, but they painted the hallway this week, and they did not, I mean, I heard the guy out there doing it, hacking his lungs out, because there's no, I'm talking about no filter, there's no airflow or anything in there, so it's been seeping under everybody's doors. And so I've been having increased asthma issues the last few days. Anyway, so I haven't been on here in a little bit because I am a perfectionist and don't want things to sound stupid, and so I keep restarting things, or I just don't pick them back up. And plus I've had some, Eleanor, no! Hey! No! Getting with the flyers. My 2 terabyte storage things for computer has to sit down on a little ledge on the bottom of the desk, but above the ground. There's a little, thank you, sit down. She likes to get into cords and stuff, and she doesn't pay attention to whether or not they're plugged in anything, or, get down! Can you sit down? Yes, I will make room. Sit down. Come on. Sit down. Oh, she's like, why don't you sit right here with you then? Yeah. Here, why don't we get a under the blanket thing going? What do you think? Under the blanket, yeah. She likes under the blanket.
So, that's true. I have tried to make this video now. This is my 6th attempt. 6th attempt. Damn it. Seriously. Okay, so I have decided, at least for today, look at my new background. Every YouTube person starts out with the most bland background, which was on my wall. And now we have an insert courtesy of National Geographic, no affiliation. But it's Purdy and it's Everest, and who doesn't like that? So maybe one day I'll look back and go, look how horrible my background looked. But at least I'm trying. So take 7. Seriously, see you in the bloopers. I'm deciding to call today Medical Marijuana Vlog. Because sticking to a certain theme or whatever doesn't seem to be a niche for me. I need to focus on something. And
Feel better? Feel better after that weird reverse sneeze? Those aren't fun. Are they? They're not fun. No? What do you want? Do you think I'm going to say something that sounds like you should cock your head a little bit? Yeah? Glad you're better. Where's your fish? Where is it? Eleanor, where is it? She's like, I don't know. She's like, I don't know. Tell me where my nap pad went. Okay. Yeah, she's a good girl.